Bebidas o monas or any particular?
Pick up speaker. Good afternoon. Please be seated. Welcome to the annual graduation exercises of Randolph Junior Senior High School. Today we honor the class of 1999. These young men and women have waited a long time for this day, and we ask their families and friends to be patient as well. We're asking that guests not enter the field at any time during the ceremony. Each graduate will have his or her picture taken by a photographer, and following the ceremony, all are welcome to enter the field for whatever photos you may choose to take. All across America at high school graduation ceremonies, students are being asked to remember their roots, to give back to their school and community. The class of 1999 is clearly ahead of those expectations. They have contributed over 4,000 hours of community service in the past 9 months. Well done. Graduates across America are being reminded that racism and violence is not the answer to our problems. Events in Colorado and Georgia have frightened families everywhere. The class of 1999 has not reacted to events beyond their control. To the contrary, prior to the tragedy at Columbine High School, the class of 1999 was proactive. The Student Council, the African American Club, the International Club, and others joined forces to align as a student alliance against racism and violence. In early April, the class of 1999 came together with the support of the District Attorney's Office and the Anti-Defamation League to make a world of difference in their school. My recollection of this effort was our school's proudest moment, an entire week of activities to educate, enlighten, and speak out against all forms of racism and violence. None of this was done to gain glory, but only to contribute and make a world of difference in their community. However, this recognition and glory was taken from the class of '99 by events in Colorado. I ask you now to recognize this class and state, well done. You have made a world of difference. Congratulations. At ceremonies across America this week, graduates are being reminded that commencement is a beginning. You are beginning new adventures, new challenges, and new opportunities for success. I believe in my heart that you are prepared for success. I hope that each of you will continue to go out and make a world of difference. You'll continue to serve your community as role models and help make our country better. On behalf of the administration, faculty, and staff, I congratulate you on your graduation day. We are very, very proud of you and wish you nothing but the best of luck and success. Congratulations. At this time, I'd like to introduce today's Master of Ceremonies, the best housemaster in Massachusetts, Mr. John Giugio.
Thank you, Mr. Linehan. Thank you. Parents, friends, family, alumni, faculty, and soon-to-be official graduates. We welcome you to Memorial Field, the home of the Randolph Blue Devils, for the Randolph Junior Senior High School graduation exercises. Of course, we gather here today to honor the senior class of 1999. To get things started, it is with great pleasure that I introduce Miss Lisa Pimentel and the Randolph Junior Senior High School Concert Band for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you, Ms. Pimentel. I would like to take a moment to say that Mr. Dave Berry, in charge of the music department, and Ms. Pimentel, I'd like to commend them for all the honors that the music program has brought to Randolph Junior Senior High School this year. Please give them a hand. Mr. Melia, the superintendent of schools, could not be in attendance today, but he has a very good reason. At this very time, his daughter is graduating from Hingham High School. She will be attending Harvard University in September, and he sends his best and he congratulates the class of 1999. At this time, I'd like to bring up to the podium, and hopefully my notes don't blow away, I would like to bring to the podium two outstanding members of the class of 1999, Nafisa Dambreville, Eugenia Okereke. They will lead us in a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If the graduates would please remain standing just for a few more minutes, please stand. The official welcome this year will be given by the Reverend Kirk Jones. Reverend Jones has been a Randolph resident for 10 years. He is a professor at Andover Newton Theological School, and he is the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Randolph. It is my pleasure to introduce the Reverend Kirk Jones.
Thank you so much. On behalf of staff, faculty, administrators, the Randolph School Committee, the graduating class of '99, welcome. Family members and friends to this momentous and festive occasion of graduation, a marking of academic achievement and a signaling to move on. To move on, graduates, toward the unique calling and destiny that many of you feel bubbling inside of you now, or hopefully will feel in the not too distant future. This is not the most important welcome, my welcoming family and friends, although it is vital and important and significant. The most important welcome, the necessary welcome, is your saying yes to the vision for faith, for self, for family, for career, for community, the destiny forming inside of you. The astounding thing about it is that of all the persons who have ever lived, or who live now, or will live, no vision or calling or dream will be identical to yours. David Stendhal Rast is marvelously on the mark when he pens in his book, Music of Silence, A Sacred Journey Through the Hours of the Day. Each one of us is destined to express the divine mystery in a unique way. So as I welcome family members and friends to the moving moment of your high school graduation, you make sure to welcome your evolving vision and calling in life. This is the welcome you offer to your uniqueness and your giftedness. In extending this welcome, not only do you give a gift to yourself but you give a gift to the world. One of the most astounding leaders of our time, or any time, President Nelson Mandela, challenges us all when he says, "Your playing small doesn't serve the world." There's nothing enlightening or nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. When we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. Welcome who you are and who you are becoming. This is the necessary welcome that the extraordinary singer and songwriter speaks of in the second portion of her song, "The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill." That great theologian, Lauryn Hill, laments and proclaims, "I look at my environment and wonder where the fire went. What happened to everything we used to be? I hear so many cry for help, searching outside of themselves. Now I know his strength is within me. And deep in my heart, the answer is, it was in me. And I made up my mind to find my own destiny. And deep in my heart, the answer, it was in me. And I made up my mind to find my own destiny." Yes, I welcome family and friends on your behalf, but you make sure you participate in the necessary welcome. Find and welcome the destiny, your unique destiny that is inside of you. And mind that whatever you do, don't you be afraid.
Thank you, Reverend Jones, for the very inspirational words. With the class of '99, please be seated. Today's official greetings will be delivered by a man who has devoted many years of service to the town of Randolph. He is an outstanding educator in his own right and a former graduate of Randolph Junior Senior High School. He is the chairman of the Randolph School Committee. Please welcome Mr. Robert Gass.
Thank you. I have good news. You made it, and my remarks will be brief. Class of 1999, friends, neighbors, family, I have 3 points I'd like to share. First, on behalf of the Randolph School Committee, all of our educational community, and if you will, the community of Randolph, we want you to know that we are proud of you. I join my colleagues on the board, Vice Chairman Ron DiGiulio, members Barbara Mellon, Ed Gilbert, our newest member Grace Cornish, and our recently retired member Nancy Irwin, in wishing you the best. And thank you so much for representing Randolph High School and the community of Randolph. My second point, your class was at Randolph Junior Senior High School to see the advent of community service programs. I'm here to ask you to continue to serve your community. We need your help. You've set a great example. Please continue to help us by volunteering with schools, youth groups, food pantries, your church, synagogues, and other important activities around this town or in the cities and towns to which you are headed. If we are to teach the youngest among us about respect, we must model a helpfulness and caring which comes from the spirit, not just to fulfill a course or group requirement. Look for a chance to help. If there isn't one, make one. That is your legacy. We appreciate it. And finally, the horrors of Columbine High School and previous acts of violence in our nation's high school have sparked an urgent national conversation about good kids and bad kids, about the disaffected and the troubled amongst us, and how we can reach out to prevent mayhem and hurt. As a 20-year school committee member, I usually meet the members of each graduating class who have met the most rigorous academic requirements or have succeeded the most in extracurricular success. But I've also learned that in each audience, in each graduating class, there are young people who have overcome great personal tragedy, social isolation, personality conflicts with teachers and administrators, and a vast assortment of difficult family and personal situations. At times, these young people have been marginalized. They felt angry or they felt victimized. Yet they have hung in there to be with us today. I salute each and every one of you, graduates of 1999, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gass. Our next speaker will be the president of the senior class. David Oxman, but before he gets up here, I'd like to say a few words about him. David was the vice president of his class in grade 11. Obviously, as I just said, president this year. He has been a member of the jazz band for 4 years, played trumpet, baritone horn, trombone section leader. He was a student council delegate at CMASC this year, Spirit Committee chairperson of the Student Council, SAD member, peer leader, a member of the Handbook Committee, member of the National Honor Society, and I like this award, he was the Homecoming King this year, 1998-99. When asked who inspired him, he said very quickly, his mother, Sandra Oxman. He also mentioned 2 faculty members who had inspired him, Mr. Kaplan of the Social Studies Department, who he said was a passionate teacher who inspired him to work hard. And he also felt that Mr. Berry inspired him. He saw Mr. Berry as an incredible leader and role model. His life goal in the yearbook is to be successful and to travel the world. His favorite book, Siddhartha, he read it in English class. He really liked it. It meant something to him. In September, David will be attending Babson. He will be majoring in international business and marketing. In daily life, he always tries to be positive. His advice to underclassmen, be active, never give up, attain leadership skills, and make a difference. It is with great pride that I introduce an outstanding leader, the president of the class of 1999, Mr. David Oxman.
Lost yesterday, somewhere between sunrise and sunset. 2 golden hours, each set with 60 golden minutes. No reward is offered, for they are gone forever. Hello, and thank you for coming today. Welcome, teachers, administrators, community members, family, friends, and of course, the class of '99. Horace Mann said my opening quote, and I find it fitting for this occasion. Time is precious, and quickly it slips through our fingers. Our time at Randolph High has drawn to a close, and its memories are precious. Today, we meet to celebrate the graduation of Randolph High School's last class of the millennium. I congratulate my fellow classmates on maintaining focus through the years and working diligently in pursuit of this day, which to most of us seemed but a dream for so very long. We made it, class of '99. Be proud, stand tall, and remember this moment. The brick building behind me holds many moments and memories that we will bring with us as we depart on our separate roads. Hopefully, by seeing how these 6 years of hard work have paid off in the end, future challenges will seem challenging, yet surmountable. There are many reasons why we should feel good about graduating from Randolph High. The most predominant reason to be proud of our school is that we have been given a better perspective of the real world than other high schools can provide. As I glance at the graduates before me, I see a beautiful picture. Our class is wonderfully diverse in terms of cultures, religions, beliefs, and lifestyles. These differences have mattered little to us because we have been taught to celebrate our diversity and find within the similarities we all share. Clubs such as the African American Club, the Student Alliance Against Racism and Violence, the International Club, and the Gay Straight Alliance have worked so very hard at sharing cultures, creating acceptance, and bringing about a feeling of unity that will surely lead to a bright future. Many of us do not understand how lucky we are to go to Randolph High. In other local schools, they do not have a very diverse community. They cannot imagine the education we have given each other by being so very different and yet so very the same. This is just one of many reasons why Randolph High was a great place to grow up. In fact, there's no other place that could have provided us with such great life skills. It is the little things in life that matter, and it will be hard for most of us to adjust to new surroundings, but it's the fun times we have shared together that will live with each of us forever. What will we miss about the unique halls of RHS? Well, rallies are where we let it all hang out, and our walls will only beat by a thunderous chants of 99. How could any of us forget Mr. Linehan at the homecoming rally, covered with pie from ear to ear, and of course, a smile. Friday nights filled with football fever and chilly conditions showed us that our blood runs devil red. I'll miss having a Macarena Monday and a Wacky Wednesday. Never again will we encounter the treasure hunts involved in finding an open bathroom. Truthfully, where else are we going to go and have an announced fire drill with an evacuation that creates a short circuit which fills a hall with smoke which leads to another evacuation? How could any of us forget our junior high lunches where the musical selection every day consisted of nothing but Iron Man? Cancun was great. Just remember to get Justin out of the cage. Check out La Boom, and please, Rory, trust me on the sunscreen. But it is really the teachers who have brought us this far, and we really will never forget them. Whenever I'm in trouble, I know I can always convert to moles. If that doesn't work, Mr. Kane will just tell me to zip, zip, zup, zup, and I'm done. Fair enough? I'll miss shouts of Mrs. Mero 204 and Mr. Doherty's mischievous rabbits. Everything from Mr. Kelly's smoking lounge, where we watch such great films as Clan of the Cave Bear, to lounging with D.O.B. and his fun facts. Mr. Kaplan's dieselness was only surpassed by his love of history, and Mr. Berry's big band brought home first place in sweet sounds. Mr. Watson's shouts of good afternoon and the continuing purple obsession of Mrs. Ellis will always be part of RHS. We could always count on the shady shenanigans of Mr. Shedlock in both gym and in the cafeteria. Guidance was our home away from home. Mr. Fallon was always real busy, class rank was never in, and Mrs. Barra always had a smile on her face. And how could we forget the infamous Mrs. Harding and her primary sources? We know that without raisins, all our work is just mush. The fear and anguish associated with learning that you have Mrs. Harding are soon gone after learning how compassionate and unique her one-of-a-kind teaching style is. Though it took her 34 years to graduate from RHS, we are proud to have her as part of our class, and her legacy will continue for many years to come. Although our high school years are over and our lives must now change dramatically, it is in no way the end of the road. It is just the end of this road, and it is time for each of us to choose our own paths. We have gathered all the tools needed, including an incredible education, friends unequaled, and a sense of who we are. Now, we are ready to start the next step of our journey. We are prepared and ready, and whether you enter in college, the workforce, or government services, I wish you luck. I hope that no matter what you decide to do with your lives, you continue to be filled with compassion and a strong ethic in what is right and wrong. Do something that truly makes you happy. Don't let society tell you what you can and cannot do. No one will ever know what you are capable of unless you challenge and push yourselves. Throughout high school, each one of our classes has faced us with something that we thought at the time was impossible. It could have been a term paper, a pop quiz, or an oral presentation. When we finally faced each challenge and came out on top, we felt rewarded for a job well done. This is what life has in store for us in the future. Obstacles, goals, failures, and successes. We can only live our lives to the fullest, go after our dreams, and be true to ourselves. I hope you all lead lives that for you are fulfilling. The world is filled with mediocrity, and we, the class of '99, can rise above and shape the future. I'd like to take this time to thank some very special people in my lives. First, my sisters, who have shown me perseverance and taught me how to think about life in a light I usually pass over. Also, my father, who has given me so much, and who may actually see the Red Sox finally win the World Series this year. To my friends, I thank you all for sticking by me through the good and the bad. Poof forever and the Care Bear stare forever. Finally, I would like to thank my mother. Thank you for always being there for me and for bestowing upon me one of your greatest qualities. No, not your brilliance, but your strength. Thank you, and I love you very much. I sat outside after our senior prom, thinking about how far our class has come. I looked up at the stars and wondered where we'd all be in 10 years. The sky was clear, and it began to hit me that this was truly ending, and I realized how much I would miss all of you. Later, when I sat down to work on my speech, I felt no closure with a casual goodbye. I needed something to say, hey everybody, this is the way we should end this thing. I looked through some sorted papers I had kept over the years, and when I came across my freshman scrapbook, I opened to the first page and found a poem I had written for our class. The poem itself could be called naive, lacking of both imagery and a quality rhyme scheme, but I think it touches upon our years together quite well. It captures everything from a questioning youth to a confident adult, and it was only fitting that I read it to you now. It's appropriately titled, Class of '99. Are we young? Are we old? It's very hard to say. Today was long, but tomorrow seems a million years away. We've come so far, we've learned so much over all these years, but there is much we still must do with our blood, sweat, and tears. When we work together and we all do our best, our class will be remembered different from the rest. So we are young and we are old, but we are doing just fine. We'll make it there together. We are the class of '99. We made it, thank you.
Thank you, David. Our next speakers are the headmaster speakers. They are the students that finished at the top of the class academically. Our next speaker is going to be Kim Trong. I'd like to say a few things about her before she gets up here. Kim was a member of the Student Council for 4 years, corresponding secretary in grade 12, an active member of the Theater Guild since grade 10, vice president of the Environmental Club in grades 11 and 12. You probably remember her on RHTV morning broadcasts for the last 3 years. Member of the National Honor Society, member of the ART, the Aesthetic Restoration Team, the group of students who went around the building painting murals. Who inspired her? Her parents, Mr. Bao Nguyen, Ms. Hung Trong. She talked about a teacher who gave her a special inspiration, Mrs. Harding. Mrs. Harding, she really challenged me. That's what Kim told me. Her yearbook quote is kind of interesting. She writes, "We are all angels, but with one wing. Only by embracing each other can we fly." Her favorite work of literature, the writings of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Kim will be attending Tufts University in September. She will be majoring in biochemistry. Her advice to underclassmen: take advantage of the opportunities that come your way. Set goals for yourself and never lose focus. It's a great honor to introduce the salutatorian of the class of 1999. Please welcome Ms. Kim Trong.
Thank you and good afternoon, fellow students, teachers, and honored guests. It is an honor for me to be able to speak before the class of 1999 at what is a significant point down the road we have chosen to journey. As we celebrate this milestone in our lives, I would like to address our teachers, staff, fellow students, and people who are often unseen, but who bring great contributions to our school. To the faculty and staff, 4 years ago, you were given the immense task of developing an incoming class of youths into fully functional adults and instilling knowledge of the world along the way. Throughout the course of our high school years here, we have been pushed, defeated, questioned, inspired, and motivated. As you challenge us to stretch to reach across barriers to relate to our peers, we have become infinitely more complete as people. Our growth and self-discovery have fueled not only a thriving intellectual environment, but also a dynamic extracurricular realm, as you have encouraged us to take on leadership roles. As we prepare to leave RHS, we leave behind a legacy of achievement and involvement unmatched by any other class. We take with us the strength and knowledge of ourselves that has come from such a challenging and creative environment. Judging solely on the character of my classmates, I congratulate the faculty on their success. As Randolph Junior Senior High School's class of 1999, our class is second to none. It was your diligent and attentive hand that has molded, guided, and prepared us for the future ahead. And for this dedication, I thank you. To the friends and family of the graduating class, if teachers are guidance, then you are surely the love and support that has held us aloft in a world that we were still being accustomed to. Your care and encouragement has fostered a strong sense of self-importance, which undoubtedly all individuals require to function. Without the love and compassion provided by these close personal ties, none of what we have achieved today would be possible. And I hope we feel pride in the magnificent and wondrous service you have provided each graduating senior, and share in the honor we will today receive. And finally, to my fellow graduates, here we stand at the dawning of our adult lives and uncertain futures. But despite what the years of changing schools have taught us, existence is not a series of starts and stops. It is a never-ending stream where the waters of the future endlessly meet with the waters of the past. And I hope you never forget your past at Randolph High School, the friends you have made, the friends you have lost, and the love you have found. The memories I have formed are those that I will most cherish in the years to come. Remember that first day of high school when you were a freshman, who of course never admitted being a freshman. The day you took your first steps down the halls of RHS and looked around at all the sophomores and juniors and seniors and thought to yourself, wow, they are so much bigger than I am. Remember when you rushed to your locker to your first class with butterflies in your stomach because you couldn't remember last night's assignment, and every bathroom in the building seemed to be out of order. Then there were sophomore and junior years, the rallies, semis, and goodbyes to our friends who, like us today, were moving on with their lives. We always wondered when it would be our turn. Well, after so much anticipation, we encounter our senior year. Who could forget the all-nighters doing AP homework, finishing an English term paper, or creating a physics learning activity? Or working your almost full-time job just to support that car you so longed for years ago. There were games, and yes, of course, partying at homecoming, the snowflake ball, and the prom. We've had some great times over the years, but not without the burden of responsibility, for the classes behind us have made us their role models. As seniors, we walked down the halls to see what was left of our once best friends from freshman year. Our once massive group of friends now dwindled to a mere few. None in vain, however, because those few friends were now our best friends. The ones we could confide in and tell anything to in good times and bad. Always hold tight to the personal connections you have formed, for it is this emotional interaction which makes us human. In the distant future, it will not be your activities, your enemies, or your GPA which you remember most. It will be your memories you have formed with those that you hold most dear, and in the end, that is all that is important. Everyone has heard the expression, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. We've made some of these golden friends in our high school careers. These are the people who have been there for us since we first met. The people that went to your meet in the rain just to see you try your best. They supported you even when they knew you were wrong. And although you didn't talk to them over the weekend, you always made sure to ask, how was your weekend, when you saw them in the halls Monday morning. What would we do without friends? Some of these silver friends will be the ones you'll be making in college. Look forward to making these silver friends. They may come in handy in the future. John Keats, renowned poet, wrote, "An Endymion I leapt headlong into the sea, and thereby have become better acquainted with the surroundings, the quicksands, and the rocks than if I had stayed upon the green shore and piped a silly pipe, and took tea and comfortable advice." Later, Henry Link presented the statement, "While one person hesitates because he feels inferior, the other is busy making mistakes and becoming superior." The resounding theme dictated by these quotations is that experience is where fulfillment and betterment of the self is found. Thus, live life to the fullest. With each day arise new experiences, but always stay focused on your goals for the future and that which you believe in. Most of you are moving on to college, some the military and others directly into the workforce. With the knowledge you have attained, you now have the ability to change all that you see wrong. You have seen the mistakes others have made, and it is your chance to correct them. The future is only what you make of it. Make it a good one. I would now like to read a poem of significance. The poem was written as a dedication to those who, like us, choose to walk down different paths. I believe in tomorrow. I believe in it because it has not yet come, and I am young, and youth always believes that tomorrow will be better than today. I believe that I will do tomorrow what I failed to do today, and be then what I have not yet been. I trust the future. Youth is always glorious because it trusts the future. Youth will attempt the impossible, scale the mountain that is supposed to be inaccessible, and dare the thing that age will fear. I believe in tomorrow because it is unspoiled. I have not, nor has anyone yet written on it with the grimy finger of folly or selfishness or sin. No wars have been fought in tomorrow. No lie has been told or dishonest deed done in tomorrow. No man has treacherously failed a friend in tomorrow. Tomorrow is one clean, beautiful day, the day on which dreams come true, on which the impossible things yet be done, on which I shall have the nerve and will to do and to be what was too much for me in the grim battle of today. I believe in tomorrow. Graduates, take a look around you. These are people without whom you would not be sitting here. Your parents, whose undying love was practically the only constant in your ever-changing lives. Your friends and peers, who were always there if you needed an open heart to listen. Your teachers, who have taught you what you need to know to survive in today's vicious world. And yourselves, since had it not been for your strong will, conviction, and determination, you would have fallen by the wayside. As you leave the field, please say thank you to the ones who you feel contributed to the most on this graduation day, this milestone in your lives. Today, 192 roads of life have come together to share in the celebration of this momentous occasion. Sadly enough, as quickly as they met, all 192 roads will once again branch off and go their separate ways. However, no matter where each road leads for each individual, we will all be able to laugh at, cry over, and most importantly, share in the memories we accumulated here at Randolph High School. Furthermore, let the knowledge you have gained in the past 12 years guide your decisions for the road ahead. However, be aware, in decisions which determine your future, your will and desire is reigning. If all our lives we follow in the footsteps of our forefathers, how will we learn what we can accomplish by straying from the path? Do right by those who care for you, live life as you see fit, and whenever necessary, choose the path less traveled by. Congratulations, class of 1999. I wish the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Our final student speaker will be Mr. Scott Golder. Scott was a member of the National Honor Society. In fact, he was president this year. He was vice president in grade 11, student council committee rep for 3 years, a member of the math team for 4 years, member of the Theater Guild for 4 years, co-editor and chief of the Blue and White Banner. Who inspired him? His parents, Mr. Stuart Golder, Mrs. Caroline Golder. When asked about his favorite work of literature, he cited there were several that influenced him. In September, Scott will be attending Harvard University. He will be majoring in computer science and linguistics. He will also continue with his theater. When I mentioned to him, or I remarked about his unusually wide range of interests, he reminded me that linguistics is the area, the academic area, in which science and humanities converge. And he is correct. His advice to underclassmen is to be active, participate, don't be a 7:30 to 2:20 student, get involved. It is with great pride that I introduce the valedictorian of the class of 1999, Mr. Scott Golder.
You know, this is the first sunny graduation that Randolph High School has seen in a number of years. That's a testament to the class of '99 and how truly excellent we really are. Good afternoon to everyone, faculty, school committee, community, family and friends, and most importantly, the members of the class of 1999. Today is the day, my fellow graduates, to rejoice and reminisce, to be proud and even a little bit sad. We've come a long way, and we've had some unforgettable memories. We've had major revelations in Mr. Kelly's class. We've had Spirit Weeks and Freak Weeks, marvelous Mondays, and a few terrible Tuesdays. To us, RHS has always been a 7 through 12 school, and we are the last graduating class to ever graduate Randolph Junior-Senior High School. I like to think of this place as the little high school that could. It's chugging along. I think I can. I think I can. And most of the time, it can. RHS is a school that, for whatever the end result, has always tried to give its students the best it could provide. The Randolph school system is that little engine, fighting its way along the track, keeping pace with the bigger engines, producing world-class scholars, musicians, athletes, and leaders. Let us think for a few moments about Randolph. Randolph is a community of 35,000 people or so. There are towns like ours all over the country, right? Well, no, that's absolutely wrong. In fact, in a recent letter from the Massachusetts Department of Revenue to the Randolph School Committee, this letter said that there is no community even remotely similar to Randolph. towns were matched up according to size, ethnic diversity, and socioeconomic diversity, so that school systems could compare their MCAS scores. The state responded that no town is quite like Randolph. Indeed, we have grown up in a unique environment. No fewer than 42 languages are spoken in our schools. We have diversity that few schools have, and we celebrate it with pride. What other school has culture night celebrations featuring ethnic dances and performances? Whom do we thank? We thank lots of people. Thank yourselves, thank your schoolmates, because without the support of the student body, nothing, no matter how well planned, can be a success. But there are others to whom we must rightfully express our gratitude as well. Our teachers are the people with whom we have worked every day. They have done more than teach us simple facts, more than how to factor polynomials, write a research paper, or como hablar español. They have, in many cases, enriched our lives. Everyone has had at least one teacher who has made him or her see the world a little differently. And everyone has had that one teacher with whom he or she hasn't quite seen eye to eye. Know that even these teachers have wanted nothing but the best for you. Someday, even if you didn't agree with them then, you'll at least understand their intentions a little bit better. Then there's our headmaster, Mr. Linehan. Maybe his businesslike, no-nonsense persona intimidates many people. It did me my first few years here. In fact, when I was in 7th grade, a girl I know who was a senior said to me, "Mr. Linehan's a great guy, and he's very helpful." I wasn't convinced. I told her flat out, "He seems kind of scary." Of course, I don't think that anymore. Look closely. It's not hard to see that the big guy really cares about his students. He drops in on club activities, and he's genuinely interested in what we, the students, are doing. His mind and his door are always open. Drop in, share your ideas with him, and he'll share right back, offering his ideas and his unyielding support. No student group could have accomplished nearly so much this year without Mr. Linehan's unquestioning support and unending enthusiasm. And he has a fantastic sense of humor. Boy, when he tells a joke, he could laugh all day. He once said to my mother he enjoys giving me the business, and it's true. With his good-natured sense of humor, Mr. Linehan would always give me a hard time about something or other, usually telling me I talk too much, or I should stop acting as though I run the place. I know, of course, it's his way of showing that he cares, and that's really his greatest trait. He's the model of a dedicated and hardworking, reasonable and fair man. On behalf of the class, Mr. Linehan, thank you for everything you've done for us as headmaster and housemaster over the past 6 years. We cannot neglect to show our appreciation to Mr. Watson. Mr. Watson shared with us 5 of our 6 years at RHS. Maybe we haven't the perspective to understand it fully, but Mr. Watson is responsible for having made RHS a safer, more tolerant place during his years as headmaster. Every time I see Mr. Watson, he tells me how much he misses us. I think that, conscious of it or not, each of us misses him too. The principal sets the tone for the school, and Mr. Watson's gentle nature could be felt under his administration. Mr. Watson, thank you for your years of hard work and leadership, and wherever you go from here, know that the success of the class of '99 is due in large part to you, and we thank you for that. Also on the dais is a group of people with whom, unfortunately, many of you have not had the good fortune to work or even to meet. I'm talking, of course, about the school committee and about Dr. Taylor and Mr. Amelia, who could not be here today. I've had the pleasure of working with and learning from Mr. Bob Gass, Ms. Barbara Mellon, Mr. Ron DiGiulio, Mr. Ed Gilbert, and Ms. Nancy Irwin for 3 years, and more recently with new member Ms. Grace Cornish. These individuals are the architects, if you will, of who build the framework of our school system. They see things that we, the students, never see, like budgets, ed reform laws, curriculum frameworks, and readings 1, 2, and 3 of more policies than you'd ever even want to think about. Their caring and dedication is tremendous. Each of them also has a real job in addition to serving on the school committee. Sometimes I imagine they wonder which is the more time-consuming. Dr. Susan Taylor, the assistant superintendent, is one of the most brilliant and unfortunately most quiet people I've ever met. Her unassuming nature sometimes hides her wisdom and her warmth, which are, in my opinion, her most distinguishing and admirable traits. In what must have been our first conversation, she quoted great educator Horace Mann, and more recently, we had a brief discussion on the nature of the comma and the semicolon. Dr. Taylor is a recent and precious part of the Randolph school system. I have a few words about Mr. Melia as well. He isn't here today, but I'd like to say them nonetheless. Mr. Melia is a true part of the Randolph school system. He's a graduate of our schools, he's taught here, and now he leads us. A pragmatic and sensible administrator, Mr. Melia also has a lighter side that many people and most students never see. Often, like many administrators, Mr. Melia is seen only when things go wrong, or when there are fingers to point. When things are going well, when times are bright, the light of recognition shines his way too infrequently. As we grow up, and as we make more and more of our own decisions, some positive, some less so, we start school 5 or 6 years into our lives. Long before we even begin kindergarten, we have already grown immeasurably, starting with nothing, developing into little people. Ask any teacher, he or she will tell you, what determines a child's success the most is what he or she has learned at home. Most of who we are as people is a reflection of our upbringing. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, siblings, and so on. Thank these people. Thank whomever it is who has been there for you every step of the way. Even without you noticing it, they've taught you and helped you, shaped and molded you, supported and guided you. I'd like to take that opportunity right now. I want to thank my parents, but I'm not quite sure how to convey my feelings exactly. They've been a constant source of support, and I think that I have too seldom expressed my gratitude. They've taught me by example how to work hard and how to do what I think is right, and it's because of them that I've been able to accomplish all that I have. All too frequently, I've spent early morning, afternoons, and many evenings here at the high school, and I haven't spent enough time over the past few years just enjoying the company and enjoying everything that my family has done for me, and I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. Words can't quite express that, but I hope I've been able to do so. Since I'm on the subject of childhood, I'll tell you a brief story. I was walking through the hallways last week. Well, actually, it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I was on my way to class. Strolling leisurely, since I was early, I noticed a baseball card on the ground. It was a 1989 Topps card. I knew that immediately, since I used to collect baseball cards fervently. I loved them. For 3 years, 1987, 1988, and 1989, I built an extensive baseball card collection. The cards are probably virtually worthless, but I loved sorting them by year, by team, alphabetically and numerically by team and by year, vice versa, and any which way one could sort cards, with the possible exception of batting average. My cards, I found that afternoon, were dusty, high on a shelf in my closet. Anyway, as I picked up that particular card from the ground, it brought back all those memories. The end of high school, to me, is just like picking up that baseball card. For years, we've all been so eager to grow up that we've stored our childhoods in the closet where they could grow dusty and forgotten. Now that we're approaching a great change in our lives, it's time to walk more slowly, to notice those baseball cards on the floor. Pick them up, dust them off. Relive and remember those memories. As they sit high on the shelf, growing dusty, they, perhaps like my old baseball cards, will grow in value. Presumably, you've gained another kind of education in the past 4 or 6 years. Aside from academics, high school is a time to begin developing your own values, to build an ethical structure that is personally valid for you. Beginning adulthood, it is vital that we begin to make our own choices. Equally vital, I believe, is that each of us understand his or her own motivation. What is it that makes me do what I do? Theater, from the classical era to the Renaissance to today, has been filled with advice to the audience. Know thyself, to thine own self be true. What have we learned from these centuries-old writers? We learn the importance of self-analysis, of looking at oneself and examining one's own thoughts. Have you ever asked yourself, why do I do what I do? What makes me choose one thing over another? Therein lies the critical fact. Each of us sees and experiences the world differently. We each give meaning and importance to those things which are meaningful and important to us. Before we can look at ourselves, we must build within us the tools necessary to do so. British writer Samuel Johnson said, "Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless, and knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful." High school has been a time in which to build a foundation in both things, knowledge and integrity. Our learning cannot end here. Whether you're going to college, into the military, or into the work world, never stop learning. That doesn't mean that you always have to be attending classes of some kind. I mean, always be aware of the world around you. Wonder about it. Discover new things in it, things that you never knew before. You'll be affected by what you learn, and your beliefs and values will be shaped and molded. You will become your own person. One of the choices you may make is to be a positive influence in your community. It's no doubt, of course, that we are strongly influenced by the people around us. Maybe someday you'll coach your child's Little League team. Maybe you'll lead a Girl Scout troop. Maybe you'll run for town office. There's a difference, you see, between a town and a community. A town is a political unit. A community is when the people work together for a common good. Randolph is more than a town. It is a community. Be active in your adult life. Speak out. Throw yourself into something that is important to you. Maybe it'll be the passage of a certain bill or the election of a certain politician. Maybe you want to save an old building from destruction, like Stetson Hall. Maybe you would want to build a new park in your neighborhood. Maybe it's a skate park. Don't think that someone else will do this. Don't think that your opinions are not valid. Stand up for yourself and what you believe in. If you disagree with something, don't complain about it. Complaining is easy. Complaining requires no investment of oneself. Change it. Change it for the better. So, as the years pass by, once you've done many of those things that you now talk about doing, you'll look back at Randolph and Randolph High. Ask yourselves right now, what will your memories of Randolph be like? Remember not the violated stairwells, but instead remember the decorated hallways. Remember not the frenzy of a bomb threat, which was neither a bomb nor a threat, but instead remember the frenzy of our rallies when our soccer and track teams had outstanding seasons. Remember not the restroom graffiti, but instead remember ART's elaborate murals which brighten our school. It's my hope that you will remember the proverbial glass or proverbial mug as half full, and you will look back on Randolph High School as a place where every week was a World of Difference week. Recently, a friend gave me some interesting advice concerning graduation speeches. She said, just remember the good times and offer some inspiration. I hope I've been able to accomplish just that. It's been a pleasure and an honor to present this farewell address to a group of people to whom I've grown so close over the past 6 years. Now, go into the world, class of 1999, and change it. Change it for the better. Make it your own. Good luck, my friends, and congratulations.
Thank you, Scott. We have just about arrived at a very important part of today's exercises, the presentation of diplomas. Before we do that, a couple of quick comments. I would like to thank 4 faculty members who will be retiring at the close of this school year. I'd like to thank them for their hard work, their dedication, and their service to the school. I'd like to recognize Ms. Lynn Harding of the Social Studies Department. Mrs. Pat Fredrickson, the school nurse. Mr. Dennis McKee of the Social Studies Department. Mr. Andy Leverone of the Math Department. Thanks from all of us. We will never forget you. I would also like to recognize a few other people. I'll be quick. Seated on the stage behind me are the school committee members, Mr. Robert Gass, you've already met most of them, Mr. Ronald DiGiulio, Mrs. Grace Cornish, Mr. Edward Gilbert, and Mrs. Barbara Mellon. Also seated behind me, Assistant to the Superintendent, Mr. James Watson, and the Assistant Superintendent of the Randolph Public Schools, Dr. Susan Taylor. Two other people I'd like to recognize, I don't think they ever get their due, but sitting out in the hot sun and working in the hot gym with all our graduates about an hour or so ago, making sure that everybody was ready, making sure that you all looked as good as you do today. I'd like you to give a special thanks to the senior class advisors, Mr. Ted Mashrick and Mrs. Ellen Hahn, for all their hard work at the prom and all our activities. Thank you very much for that. I'd personally like to congratulate the class of 1999. Congratulations on your efforts, your perseverance, the completion of your course of studies. I've especially enjoyed working with you. I wish you luck. I hope you all don't get conceited. I hope you all come back and say hello. The students behind me also, their names are on the program. I wouldn't want to leave them out. Some of them have spoken to you. All the students on stage today are either top-ranking academic students or class officers, some both. Please give them a hand. The moment we've been all waiting for, the presentation of diplomas. Diplomas today will be presented by Mr. Robert Gass, the chairman of the Randolph School Committee, Mr. Ron DiGiulio of the Randolph School Committee, and Mr. Jerry Linehan, the headmaster of Randolph Junior Senior High School. They will be assisted by Lauren O'Malley, the vice president of the class of 1999. That blew out my eardrums. The person announcing the names will be the assistant headmaster of Randolph Junior Senior High School, Mr. Robert Johnson. Thank you.
It is my great privilege to present the members of the class of 1999, the last graduation class of the millennium, who will receive their diplomas today. Philip T. Agresti. Iftikhar I. Ali. Mark M. Alfiero. Brendan K. Babayan. Brett Joshua Babayan. Jacinta Leah Baldwin. Michael Barry. Chinenya Belanwu. Paul Benefit. Clint Anthony Benjamin. Danielle Marie Bertoni. Sharon Blaine. Natalie Michelle Bonney. Melissa Pamela Bornstein, whose diploma will be presented by her stepfather, Mr. Neil Green, who is employed at the Randolph Public Schools. Danine Branch. Trezana Leora Brown. Mark A. Buchanan. Kathuska Carranza. Shaniqua Carson. Amanda Eve Carter. Letitia A. Champlain. Sharon K. Chan. Wilson Chan. Casper Giuliano Chaneco. Chun Young Chung. William Siwa Chin. Lynn Peggy Sophia Christmas. Wei Chen Chu. Megan Elizabeth Clements. Jordan L. Cohn. Jason Hugh Cummins. Takreem A. Mary Joseph Dambreville. Martin L. Davis. Natasha Marie Dean. Megan Marie Diossi. Kimberly Ann Diamond. Vicky Docanto. Stacy Elizabeth Doniger. Christine A. Donovan. Melissa J. Dowling, whose diploma is being presented by her mother, Ann Dowling, who teaches at Randolph Junior Senior High School. Amanda L. Elliott. Renato Merwin Ellis. Michael Paul Erickson. Henry Romero Etienne Jr. Brian Keith Evelyn. Roberto Federico. Jonathan S. Feldman. Timothy George Field. Jason Finney. Marianne M. Foley. Jahad D. R. Funches. Kimberly R. Garner. Stephanie A. Gately. Gerard N. George. Michael P. George. Michael C. Gervino. Jessica L. Glaskin. Jetty Montero Gomes. Kellyanne Graziano. Neil Howard Greenstein. Vaibhavi Himanshu Gundaria. Yolanda May Harris. Rory Francis Hayes. John Robert Healy. Alyssa A. Healy. Kristen M. Healy. Terrence J. Herrera. Joshua Hipsman. Daniqua Holloman. Connie Hui. Mehul R. Javeri. Andronique L. Joseph. Beatrice Joseph. Peter L. Carroll. Nathan Carr. Alex D. Kiem. Kevin W.S. Nealand. Agapi Korasitis. Valerie J. Kuipers. Eatery Shuing Lamb. Elaine Lamb. Danielle R. Lampert. Christopher S. Lampner. Jerry H. Langston. Marty Lay. Joshua Michael Lee. Diana Lee. Kimberly Levinson. Danielle C. Letirio. Jamie Liu. Kate Elizabeth Lowenthal. Stacy M. Lowenthal. Benedict Len Manzano. Don Christian O. Mateo. Gerald Loretta Mateo. James W.S. McBride, Jr. Christopher Adam McLaughlin. Michael Mentor. Casey J. Metherall. Scott P. Mitchell. Nelson Moy. Marcelino Montez. Joanne Lee Moy. Derek Tyrone Muff. Christopher M. Murphy. Arun Nagarajan. Linson Jude Naval. Robert William Norton. Gregory Myers O'Donnell. Allison E. O'Meara. Kelly M. O'Neill. Suzanne Marie O'Toole. Olivia Fernandez Olivenza. Kevin Ryan Pacheco. Justin Michael Pantano. Tapan Arun Patel. Rachel Elizabeth Pizarra. Sasha Brianna Perrin. Bethany Petit Frere. Hua N. Pham. Erica L. Pokel. Mark John Pomerleau. Ariel Jacob Pottishman. Ilana R. Pottishman. Marianne Powers. Erica A. Radzowitz. Jennifer M. Ramey. Lori Ann Ramey. Jacqueline Teresa Richardson. Ada Luz Rivera. Nakia Robinson. Brendan A. Roach. Jill Marie Rosa. Darnell St. Louis. Joshua Adam Sandals. Michael E. Sandler. Sarah Jennifer Sandler. Danielle Severance. David A. Schoenig. Tamimu Shylon. Damian Patrick Singh. Sasha Singh. Sandra Marie Smith. Therese Smith. Justin Richard Spellman. Lindsay M. Steinberg. Kanisha Renee Stora. Ashley Melissa Sturdivant. Sean Patrick Sullivan. Ting Angela Tam. Heather L. Tatel. Solomon Omari Thompson. Danisha Marisol Torres Chever. Tiffany Karen Trong. Edward Charles Turner. Ralph Valliere. Lance G. Vara. Cindy Tien Vu. Christopher Darrell Walker. Jessica L. Whaley. Emily Diana Weiss. Benjamin P. White. Lakasha Joy Wilburn. Kristen A. Wilzinski. Nathan Gregory Whitmer. Helene Wong. Joma Wooten. Julian D. Worrell. Hala Zader. Riche Charles Zamora Jr. The following are the top 10 ranked students. 10, Wyman Mercedes Wong. Number 9, Yen Eliza Wong. Number 8, Moria Wong. Number 7, Salisha Chong. Number 6, Helen Tong. Number 5, Helen Hoiling Ho. Number 4, Francis J. Gallagher III. Number 3, Roshni B. Patel. The salutatorian, Kim Fong Trong. And the valedictorian, Scott Andrew Golder. And finally, the officers of the class of 1999. Secretary, Uchenna Chioma Rebecca Okarike. Treasurer, Nafisa D'Amberville. Vice President, Lauren O'Malley. And the President, David H. Oxman. Congratulations to all.
Class dismissed.